Okay, so in this tutorial I will be showing you how to set up navigation meshes in the Tactical AI Kit. Now if you're new to AI development, I need to tell you how they get around. So to get from point to point, they need to get around obstacles, and that's a particularly hard thing to do. So there are a few different ways of going about this. The older version of the AI Kit came with what was a navnet, I suppose, where you manually dropped navigation nodes and created a web, which took a long time, but basically was a way to define all the walkable area. And AI players would use these as roads, essentially, to get around. In this version of the kit, thanks to Daniel Buckmaster, we now have a implementation of a system called Recast, which calculates this automatically. So this is going to be a very short tutorial. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take this level, Box World, and we are going to define all walkable area that AI players can use. So to do this, we're going to just move our player anywhere on the map. And we're going to press Alt-A. Actually, first I'm going to show you what's in place. Press F11 to go into the world editor. Okay, now that I'm here, you can see this blue box here. If we expand or use the filter, I'm going to search for Mesh 1. That's what the navigation mesh is always called in the AI kit. So if we click it, we will see this white web over everything that shows all the walkable area. You'll see it stays away from walls because you can't walk there. We're not wide enough for that. We're too wide for that, rather. It shows it going up ramps, around obstacles, basically anything. So this is just a way for AI players to get around. It uses these vertices and these lines to figure out how to get from point to point in the most efficient way possible. So lucky for us, this is all done automatically. I'm going to show you how. First, I'm going to delete the one that's in place. So if you are following along with this tutorial, feel free to do that. And go out of the editor. And I'm going to open up the Tactical AI Kit Creator, and that is going to be Alt-A. Remember this shortcut. So right now I'm going to head over to the Navigation tab. I'm going to click this, and that's going to give us this option here. It says Create Nav Mesh or Build Mesh. We don't have a nav mesh right now because we just deleted it, or if you're just setting up a mission for the first time, chances are you don't have it. So hit Create Nav Mesh. This is going to tell us what it just did. It added a nav mesh called Mesh 1 at the player's position, and it's about to drop us into the world editor to let us scale it and position it. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to press Alt-C to get onto camera mode. So there's our blue box. That is Mesh 1, so we'll see that at the very end of our list here. So if we click it, now the navigation data is still saved because it's saved to a file here, but if you're setting up a level for the first time, you won't see it, but that's nothing to worry about. The main concern is moving this blue box over your level where you want AI players to be able to walk around. So I'm going to stretch it out like that. I'm using these tools up here in case you're new to the world editor. This is the position one, this is rotation, which doesn't work with this, so just stick with moving and scaling. So I'm going to scale off to the side a bit, maybe move it. So we can overlap off the edges, you don't have to worry about that. Try to keep it as small as you can just for the sake of memory and performance. You don't want it to get too big. I'm going to scale it up like that, and that should be pretty good. Okay, so that's set up, it looks reasonable. So now I'm going to go back into the creator, Alt-A, and I'm going to leave all these settings at defaults. I'm going to hit Build Mesh. And it's going to tell me that what we're about to do is happening, so do not press this build button while it's happening. Alright, you saw it flash red in the background, then back to white. The walkable area was just calculated, just like that. That's how easy this is. AI players can drop in, as long as they're on this white web, they can move to any point within this web. So they will know how to walk around, which is fantastic. I couldn't stop geeking over it when I first made this. So, okay, let me go over the settings here. So, cell size and cell height. The most simple explanation I give you here are if you make these lower, you're going to get a higher quality mesh. If you make it higher, you're going to get a blockier mesh. In fact, I'll show this. If I bump this up to, say, 0.8, it's going to be doing less calculations, which is better on performance, I suppose, when it's building it. Like, that was almost instant right there. But you can see it's much blockier and of horrible quality. So doing it this way, we lose our ramp here. We lose the ability to get through some tight spaces like this. We can't get around that because we just use too low of quality. So bring the cell size back down to something nice. I like 0.15 personally. I haven't ever had a problem with that. Let's rebuild it here. And just like that, we can get around this tight bend, and it looks like our ramp is back too. So long story short, that is how do you control the quality of the build. You have actor height. This controls how tall an actor is. That way, we're not worrying about vertical clearance there. Nobody's hitting their head on anything. Actor climb is how high of a step that they can automatically climb up. So in your player data block, you should see a field called max step height. This should be less than that. Try to keep it low if you can. 0.3 usually works. We just don't want it trying to step over too many things. And then we've got the actor radius. That's how wide the actor is. And that gives us this clearance between the walls and the actual walkable area. That way we're not scraping our arms up against it. So that's fine. We also have the walkable slope. This is the highest angle that an AI player should be able to climb up. Now again, make sure these values match in your data block too, because if the nav mesh is showing that an AI player can walk somewhere we can't actually walk to, they're going to get stuck, so just watch out for that. Alright, so actually that is pretty much it for this tutorial. That is how easy this has been made, so go ahead and do that to your level. And last but not least, please do not forget to save your mission. So you can do that either in the editor by hitting save level, or I put a nice little button here on the creator that says save mission. That works as well. So there you have it.